Hello, today I'm going to be talking about the difference between being single and in a relationship when you're trying to overcome a porn addiction. Now, my experience with porn addiction is that you have a part of the mind, which is what we call the addicted part of the mind, right? And this addicted part of the mind, it's got one job. All it wants is for you to engage in your compulsive behaviour. One job, 24/7, that's all it cares about. It doesn't really care about whether you're in a relationship or whether you're single. So let's actually look at the thought patterns in a little bit more detail here. So the addicted part of the mind, it comes up with excuses, rationalizations, justifications, just bullshit explanations as to why it's okay for you to engage in the behavior that you want to engage in. Now, when you're in a porn addiction, you are going to have the desires. You are going to want to engage in the behavior. And this isn't due to there being anything wrong with you. It's due to the repetitive use of the compulsive behavior that you've been engaging in over many years. The repetition creates these new neural pathways. Now you have these desires. And the addicted part of the mind with these desires is going to try and get you to engage in the behavior again, even though a part of you also wants to stop the behavior. So how's it going to do it? Well, let's say you're single. All right. It doesn't really matter if I watch porn, I'm single anyway. That's one thought that the addicted part of the mind will probably say. It doesn't impact anyone but me. So, the consequences aren't that bad because, it's not going to impact my partner. You might say, I've got no one to have sex with anyway. I need some kind of sexual release. So it's okay for me to watch porn and masturbate because I'm not in a relationship right now. I'll stop watching porn when I am in a relationship. I could come up with countless more ways in which the addicted part of the mind will come up with bullshit reasons to engage in the destructive behaviour, the compulsive destructive behaviour, when you're single, But here's the thing, right? There's nothing that special about being single when it comes to overcoming a porn addiction. In my opinion, there isn't actually any difference at all, between being single and being in a relationship, because what's going to happen is if you're in a relationship, you're also going to have bullshit explanations, justifications, rationalizations to engage in the behavior as well, right? It might be, my partner doesn't look anywhere near as great as the women in the porn. This is the only way I can, look at beautiful women without cheating on my partner. So I'm going to watch the porn. That could be one explanation, that the addicted part of the mind will come up with. It could be, my girlfriend's on a period right now. I've got no sexual release. I'm used to having sex. So now I need to go watch porn and masturbate. Or, my partner's not really been in the mood lately. I'm not having my sexual needs met with my partner. So I'm going to go watch porn and masturbate. The addicted part of the mind will conflate the choice, because the real choice is, do you actually want to stay in an addiction or do you want to be free? That's the choice. It's option A or option B. It's not about whether your partner's on a period or not. That isn't the choice in the critical moment of compulsive desire. And what I'm talking about here may not necessarily make sense to everyone, because if you don't have the full education on how to actually think through these desires, then it may not all be making sense. But I want to just get across, if you're single right now and you think, I'll just wait until I'm in a relationship, that's bullshit. I work with men day in, day out in relationships. I work with men who have been in marriages for decades. These guys are struggling just as much as the single guys. The single guys are struggling just as much as the married guys. There's no real difference. I've seen guys succeed who are married. I've seen guys succeed who are single. And I've seen the opposite of that for both categories as well. My experience as well is, when I was single and I was in the porn addiction, things were pretty shit, but there was always that thought of at least I've got a bit of space to work on this on my own. It's kind of at least I'm not impacting anyone else's life. So then that would be one thought of okay, well, at least, I'm single while dealing with the porn addiction. So, you can flip it the other way as well. And there's just pros and cons to all of it. And basically it makes no difference. When I was in a relationship, it's oh God, I really need to quit porn. I can't watch porn anymore because I'm in this relationship. Again, that's a junky thought. That's bullshit, because you can watch porn. It's just there's consequences. One of the consequences is it is going to impact your relationship. You may think, I need to, end this relationship and prioritize dealing with the addiction first and then get into a relationship. There's so much different situations and contexts and excuses the addicted part of the mind can basically come up with, whether you're single or you're in a relationship. doesn't matter to me at all. And I say this because we had a client this week message us, hey, I feel like guys are more likely to succeed if they're in a relationship and I'm single. That's why this is so hard. That's what he said. And it's just the addictive part of the mind. And he knew that, with the training that he's had through the Beyond Compulsion Academy, he knows all of that. And he was just raising that awareness and sharing it with us, which is great because that's what we're all about. We're all about seeing the thoughts from the addictive part of the mind with a bit of space and go, oh yeah, that's bullshit. That's just the man behind the curtain. Like a bit of a Wizard of Oz metaphor. But anyway, yeah. Essentially, it doesn't make a difference, all right? So lose the bullshit excuses. Whether you're single, whether you're in a relationship, overcoming a porn addiction is difficult. It is possible, though. See it day in, day out, myself and my clients thriving. So, yep, if you want to learn more, then book a call with me and we can have a little chat, see if I can help you. Cheers for listening, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.